Welcome to SplatoonTourney. Welcome to Ludi tonight, or if you're where I'm from. It's Ludi this afternoon. Welcome to the EU Takeover. I'm Nito, joined by my partner in crime, Cactus, who I did not just try to use this on, so I'm going to put that away. But today, or tonight, or even this morning if you'd like, we've got one heck of a matchup for you. This is Division X. I want to see the big boys. I want to say the big squids. Let's say big squids. Black Lotus, Firebend. What big matchup we've got coming up for us?
Yeah, absolutely. No, you said it best. Two Division X teams going against each other here, brawling it out. Black Lotus coming off of their win last week, looking to make this 2 in a row. Firebend has yet to have their week 1 match against Frutella, but they're looking to start off strong regardless, with their week 2 match being Black Lotus. So they're excited to get things rolling. They want to be able to have their first win of this Ludi season, but who's going to be able to take it all in this best of 9?
Well, let's go ahead and start with Black Lotus's very impressive resume, I must add. I mean, I went around the internet looking at everything that Black Lotus has got to their name. Just a few days ago, they went to the United Land in Germany, got themselves a first place win against some big names too. Their grand finals match was won against Toyo Ben. I'm going to say one of these names wrong, so for all the EU fans, I'm sorry in advance, but we got Toyo Ben, Mako, Snipes, and the last one's TYN. I'm gonna say Time, Tint. They won 4-0, but so far, I mean, you won the United Land. They've won 3rd in Mode Cup, number 11. Number 11 is Toman. 8th in the team rankings back in Sendo Q Season 2, and they actually beat Alliance Rogues 3-1 in their Mode Cup Light number 2 appearance, going to 3rd. So Black Lotus, they've got this whole. You pull up their history, they got this whole lineup right behind. I like what Black Lotus is coming in with.
Yeah, I mean, Black Lotus is coming in with quite a strong background and quite a strong follow-up. They have a lot of previous matches now under their belt, looking to continue this, and I'm sure they're feeling pretty confident in being able to potentially win this whole Ludi division. But Firebend feels like a little bit like the wild card. I personally haven't seen too much about them, but with a roster that large, who's to say what players they're going to bring out and what they might have hidden up their sleeve? I mean, it's not every day you see a roster that large in a Ludi division, in Ludi matches. So it's really going to be a shock and a surprise what these players are going to bring out. I mean, just look at that roster. You have Brock, Oscar, Soren, Storm, Glash, Vin, One Shot, and Miss. I mean, that's quite the handful of players you have added to your roster.
And I looked through some of that roster too, because you go to Firebend's little Twitter account, usually there's going to have all the results there. Firebend doesn't have anything. This is going to be a brand new team, fresh out of the Ludi oven. But I looked through all of these players. Brock is very proud for being the 3rd Carbon Roller to get 300 XP in the West. And then we've also got Soren, who actually the third name is actually, this is their 2nd season in Div X. They actually also teamed up with Noctis in the homecoming tournament back in August 23. So there is a bit of experience behind Firebend, and I think that's where we're getting this sort of Div X experience, and I think that's where Firebend could pull off some sneaky plays here.
Yeah, I mean, looks like they're going to try to pull out some sneaky plays. Going on to Mako Mart Splat Zone. Sneaky plays can be done by going through the side alleys, or aisles, if you will, of this map along those 2 stacks on each side. Flanking around, being able to get some nice side picks. Especially if you're on the offensive side, though, you're able to take advantage of a lot of higher ground ledges if you are going to use specials like maybe a Crab Tank or a Trizuka. This is also a map that's favored largely by certain rollers, like maybe a Carbon Roller. Could see Sloshers and Blasters do very well here as well. This is a very ledge-happy map that we could see a lot of great plays happen as we see through the first game.
I guarantee this, if there's any map to start off very well for Black Lotus, it's going to be Mako Zones. You've got Noctis on your side, who's been doing very, very well with the Blaster. This is a signature weapon for them, so I almost expect a Blaster to come out map 1. You've also got a Bucket Vein and not in Knaves, one of them. We're doing very well, by the way. But May's actually got a bucket main too, so I don't know. This could be a hot start right out of the gate for Black Lotus.
Yeah, I mean, I would be surprised to see it as well. Black Lotus has been around for quite a while. I mean, we've seen these players around, this team in general, around for the World Championships matches that happen over in the EU. I mean, we've seen them battling it out on multiple online majors itself. So they might come out swinging, and we're about to find out. These players are ready. They're locked and loaded. Gonna go now. Here we go. Zones on Makeomar. Nito, tell me about the comps we're seeing.
Lock in, because we got a DivX matchup, and one and only Black Lotus versus Firebend, part of the Ludi Tonight EU Takeover. Got Black Lotus coming out with basically what I was expecting. We've got Phoenix on the buckets, and Noctis on the blaster. What I was waiting for. They actually pull out similar comps from what I saw from their warm-up stream. Firebend's actually come out. You actually see Brock with that carbon roller, and you actually see a ballpoint, another signature from the side of Firebend. I believe that's going to be Storm on a Splatling there. But like I talked about it earlier, this is Black Lotus coming out to a hot start. You've got Noctis exactly where you want him to be, right under that play area. They've already come out with a pick on that jet, or on the Ink Jet from the side of Firebend. Black Lotus starting off very well here. Might get themselves well past halfway.
Yeah, halfway already down on the goal point for them here. Strikes are going to come on out. We're going to have a battle of 52s on the top there. Firebend's going to be winning that fight, but the zone is still not capped. They do have 2 players on Black Lotus down. They're going to try to fight for the zone, make that 3 players, practically a delayed wipeout. And immediately you're seeing these players on Firebend take positionings. Look at Misa in this corner here on the 52. Applying more pressure to the other 52, pinch going off in this corner. They will successfully win that fight. 2-down situation for Black Lotus. Firebend doing a great job at their positioning, and that's something you love to see at this high of a skill level. You're seeing these players have a really common sense and a good common ground on where they want to position, especially for the weapons they're playing.
This is something I noticed from all these high-level matchups, all these high-level, especially in terms of communication, they just operate like butter. This is all smooth. They know almost immediately if they see an opportunity, if they see a situation they recognize very well, it's just all hands on deck. Let's go. Let's see what we can get off of this. There's already 2 players going down, 3 players going down for Black Lotus. Firebend off to a wild start here. They're going to need to capture the zone though, because they've got 3 players down and they can already take care of that advantage. They do give a few penalty points to Black Lotus though. Black Lotus actually getting back to zone, but Firebend still has 4 strong. Black Lotus waiting on 1 to respawn. It's still anybody's game here with 2 minutes left on the clock, or 3 minutes actually left on the clock.
Yeah, I mean, something I've noticed a lot is even though Black Lotus and even Firebend have gone 2-3 players down, look like they're in a position to get kind of spawn locked. They're able to find their way out, and that's something a lot of top players are really good at, is finding their way out of tricky situations that they might be in. Here's Noctis here using a splash on, trying to find a pick. Will they find it? No, but they find it direct on 1, trying to follow up with another on the ledge. Can they find it? Yes! Noctis for 2. That's a full wipeout for Black Lotus onto Firebend. Firebend now looking into deep trouble as Noctis is already up on that plat, camping that top left ledge.
And that is, I mean, Noctis doing what Noctis does, and especially with how that blaster is able to take fights, as long as he can sit behind one of those blocks there, just let everyone else come to you. I mean, so far, that's easy as heck with Noctis there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, wow, look at that. Firebend just consistently getting a run down here. Trades are going off, but that's not what Firebend needs. Firebend needs to get these picks and just win this player advantage, but it's not going to happen. Splashdown comes on down, trying to get 2 players, gets 1 as Brock hides around the corner, tries to go in. Not enough time on the clock. Black Lotus will be taking game number 1 of this Division X Week 2 match.
Well, that's, I mean, I don't know. For a while there, I thought Firebend was going... Firebend was actually pretty solid here for a hot minute. I mean, there were times where I thought Black Lotus had themselves staggered, and I thought this could be one that Firebend sneaks past, but Black Lotus holds on, and I mean, what more do you expect from a team so experienced and a team so well composed, and seeing that composure play out in this first match. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you said, Firebend really gave them a run for their money for a little bit. I mean, you saw how dangerous they got into their positions. I mean, Firebend got it all the way down to 41, only a 10-point differential. But as you see in these replays here, Black Lotus was able to just lock it in, get the job done, get a nice wipeout to give him a little bit of an advantage state. Even seeing here the last 14 ticks left to go on the Black Lotus's zone counter, holding great positions. Ballpoint goes down, Zuka gets one, but a nice splashdown gets rid of the 52. Trying to rush into zone, Brock tries a last resort rush on in. Not enough time, not enough pressure to be added for Black Lotus to secure a very excellent game 1. And I know you're looking at game number 2 on Crab Leg Capital for Clam Blitz. Fireman have a little bit of advantage here. Again, we see a little bit of ledge happy for the roller. I know Inkjet could work really well for the ballpoint, especially with those grades, but Black Lotus as well. I mean, they're looking very strong here if they play that heavy edit on that great positioning as well. Whoever gets the offensive stance first is going to have a wonderful time on this map. What do you think, Nito?
I mean, we went from Maker Mart zones to Crab Leg Clam Blitz. So, if I'm Black Lotus, I think this is almost a perfect storm for keeping your momentum. I mean, Crab Leg, you have all these greats, and you have Noctis, which is currently one of the MVPs of the set with how well they were able to play that last match. So. Just keep it rolling here. Black Lotus is going to keep, I believe, they're going to keep the same comp. I mean, it isn't broke, so they're not fixing it, and Fireben's actually going to do the same, so no surprises here. I do want to see how Fireben plays around that Blaster, with that Blaster potentially being a huge threat here.
Absolutely. Right off the bat, Misa goes down on the side of Fireben. That opening gambit's not going to be too successful for them here. Phoenix tries to go down for a trade at least as the Carbon rushes them in. It's going to be unsuccessful. Thankfully, Cooler's already out in the first 20 seconds for Fireben. Trying to hold some positioning here, but it's going to be Black Lotus doing a great job at applying pressure. Trades going off in mid between both teams here. No team has a real dominant positioning here, but a bomb will take out the Zuka user. I believe they were coolered up, so they'll be back in no time, probably with a little bit of charge left on that Zuka special. A little battle going down in that right pit section between the 52s. Misa will win that as the Jet will supply some added pressure. And right off the bat now, we are seeing finally the collapse for Fireben on the Black Lotus. But Black Lotus is doing a great job at defending it right now.
I almost did notice how smooth those 2v1s were. I mean, Fireben's doing such a great job making sure that every battle they take there was a 2v1 and making sure they could always keep the upper hand, but didn't last too long for them. Black Lotus is currently in the driver's seat. They've got what I think was a triple on Fireben. They've actually got a power clam as well. That headed has Cooler ready. Get ready for a big push. It's going to be Black Lotus getting first blood here. If they can get that popped off, that's going to be a splashdown, getting one pick off for Black Lotus, and actually both teams trading picks there. But getting Brock out from Fireben is going to be huge, because that way Fireben can't pull off a sneaky play there. I already saw them on that right side of the screen there. That could have been a scary play for Black Lotus, but they do end up getting one power clam in.
Yeah, you know, one power clam with two teams as strong as these, I mean, it could be that's all it takes, right? I mean, we saw that defensive lineup that Fireben was putting on Black Lotus, barely being able to sneak in just that one power clam and jumping out thanks to the Cooler. We see a double gets played out by the Inkjet before Mert takes them out. Great job there. It was 2v2 on the board. Cooler will be popped, but against Black Lotus in the offensive positioning right now. Look at this aggression they have. A ball already ready to go. The players on Fireben are trying to find some footing here as they do get 2 players down, make it 3 with Cooler just bouncing them around a little bit here, trying to block up them from getting this power clam. Jump outs are going to be key here. Fireben finally taking some space, but the clam economy is not just there just yet. Maybe enough for a little bit of a strong push, but if I'm Fireben, I'm looking for a monster push here, trying to get a solid lead and just block out Black Lotus the rest of the match.
Yeah, if I'm Black Lotus, I think what you're doing right now is working so well. Look at the positioning there. You see Noctis already moving up, but even with 2 players there, it's a 2v2. Even with how they're positioned, they're still right next to one another, and they still know that if any one of them get into a fight, they can just as easily help the other out. But Brock tries to go for a solo play there, almost gets it on Mert though. It gets up to 70 remaining Black Lotus as they try to get more clams in. There is going to be the 52 guy trying to make a sneaky play going around the back of Black Lotus, but Black Lotus is getting pretty far up in the point count here. It's all up to Yaru, who's going to be trying to back up but can't because there's a 3v1 staring directly at them. That's a wipe for Fireben, but the damage has been done for that push. It's now time for Fireben to find a response.
You know, whenever we see the wipeout after a push, the saying goes, "Oh no, you're in trouble." But not for Black Lotus. Look how immediately they were already rushing down that front ramp, holding strong. A nice blaster AoE will get that player on the grate here. And just look at this pressure. We thought Firebend right there was about to have a great push going for them, but Black Lotus completely just turned it around. And now Firebend sitting on the back foot as a lot of these players are going down, getting trades, but Mert on the grate, like I mentioned before, holding a strong stance, knows where these players are, and making sure to keep their players safe as they come back in with only a minute and under left on the clock.
That's crazy. I mean, Mert almost has the same view as us, just so well aware of the surroundings. Of course, there's only one player that Mert would have to be aware or wary of in that situation, would have been Brock. But that's crazy, just knowing what position to stay. As long as I stay here, as long as Brock sees that I'm here and knows the potential that I have to damage, potential that I have for damage, that's all I need. That's all I need to do is sit here. And so far it's working. It's starting to pay off a little bit for Black Lotus. They do get a few more clams in, actually. Going up to 31 remaining. That's going to be a stronger lead for them. Firebend with 15 seconds on the clock has a power clam. This should be going to overtime, but I mean, you said it. Black Lotus is a brick wall right now. Firebend, you can see that, 100 remaining. We're going to go into overtime, but we got to see what Firebend comes up with, and they got to come up with something fast.
Looks like here's the start of their push. Inkjet's going to come on out. They threw the ball to make sure they don't carry it around so their players can go on in. Cooler will be popped. Zuka popped. The players are getting traded out by the Slosher, sharking behind in that section. 3 players down. This is Firebend's push to go. A power clam is scored, but a splashdown will try to get players. No, they live. Another power clam is scored, but 2 players go down. Misa's trying to hold a front power aggression, but they go down as well. Jump comes in. It's not enough. Black Lotus collapse from both angles, securing game number 2 with a great sign of offense and defense.
Well, and I'm saying well again because that is going to be another convincing win for Black Lotus. I mean, I already mentioned it earlier. That's 100 remaining for Firebend at the end of that match, but I mean, my goodness, Black Lotus so far strategically doing very well, mechanically doing very well too. Noctis has been, Noctis, Phoenix, all of these players on Black Lotus proven to be very self-sufficient in these fights. Firebend just hasn't been able to find the responses they've been looking for. They do have they do. I do see glimpses of potential with what the kind of plays they're making here, but so far it's been all Black Lotus here.
Yeah, there were plenty of situations that looked like they were in Firebend's favor. I mean, look at this defense by the 52 being able to turn around on the back foot, trying to apply a lot of pinch pressure. They even got a wipeout, right? But the wipeout wasn't enough. Black Lotus rushed their own ramp to stop any players from pushing forward, and Firebend kind of got scared there. They had to back out. They had to kind of play their life a bit, and that just really didn't do a good number for them. I mean, they got put in a tricky situation where they weren't able to play off of any picks or trades they got onto Black Lotus. Like you said earlier, Black Lotus was a brick wall. They were impossible to penetrate, and even at the end for the overtime, when they were able to, it was only 2 power clams, and then they just got wiped out.
Well, you shouldn't expect any less from what is currently one of the best teams in all of the European Union as we head into Game 3, which is going to be Shipshape Cargo Co. on tower control. Now, I saw Black Lotus actually, well, in the warm-ups, I saw Black Lotus running this map. They're going to run a similar comp, I believe. I mean, why not, really? I mean, it's working out pretty well for you. And honestly, if you're doing very well, just don't overthink it. Let's just cruise on, keep the momentum. And with 4 players on your roster, I mean, it's really hard not to. At that point, you just have everything so locked in, everything so synthesized together.
Yeah, and who's to say they will even change the comp, right? I mean, the comp was so strong that they might not even want to change anything, even from when they were warming up prior with a comp so good, like you said before. It ain't broke, don't fix it. And looks like that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to keep it together. Both teams, no, we are going to see a Bamboo come out. That is the newer version that is going to have Chumps and Fizzy, so I'm interested to see what kind of plays they want to make off of that. Maybe apply a lot more chip damage, try to get a lot more picks on the board. But both teams rushing down to mid, panning up as much as they can, seeing who's going to be able to lay the first picks down on the ground.
And that actually saw a V shot come out from Black Lotus when they were in the warm-up, so they're going to keep that, actually going to stick with that. I believe it was a V shot, but they actually stick with the 52 gal because it seems to be working out fairly well for him. Firebend's going to get first dibs on the tower with at least 1 point, and actually got Black Lotus all bunched up together there. So this could be the time where Firebend moves in, makes a play, but not unless Noctis gets at least one trade off. But good for Firebend that they have 3 players down on the side of Black Lotus. So this could be a solid opening push here. A nice change of pace for Firebend, especially with how much they struggled earlier trying to get themselves back into the driver's seat. This is going to be a good opening for Firebend as Black Lotus puts a stop to this push for now.
Yeah, I mean, a push is stop, but look at the special usage already coming out. The Whale gets a pick on the heavy edit. Chumps are out to apply more paint pressure to get another player in. Bamboo gets a beautiful pick on the side. Bamboo fans are winning. And look at this aggression by Vin here, applying even more pressure up the front. And this tower is going to be pushed past that 40-point mark. Will it get to that checkpoint in time before players of Black Lotus are going to stop it? Probably not yet, because you're applying a lot of strong defense. But Firebend's so far been able to find some answers to it. Although right there, getting 2 players down for Black Lotus is huge, and they're going to try to play off of that.
Huge 2 picks for Black Lotus. That means they're able to do whatever it takes. I mean, you talked about special usage. You talked about special usage. You're starting to see more of it now. There's the trip strikes, and there's also the cooler coming out from the side of Black Lotus. He's going to be Phoenix here with the slosher. I mean, this is a potential for a double here. You already saw it there. Got 2 hits on 2 players. There's one. Might be able to get another one on Brock. That could be huge for Black Lotus. Maybe one on the Bamboo. Bamboo's going down. Brock also goes down. That is exactly the type of mechanics and the type of skill you want to see from a Division X team, and Black Lotus is doing a very good job displaying all of those skills.
Look at this teamwork by Black Lotus. Besides pinching on all those players together, they're doing a great job at taking not only these fights together, but making sure each player is able to go on in and support each other with whether that's a special combo with it or players together. There's a nice double by Noctis, back-to-back directs. Strikes will come out on the tower to try to push it forward, but Chumps will come out in retaliation as those strikes finish up to apply a little bit more paint on the board. Black Lotus not able to grab that lead just yet. Firebend is not out of this. They're holding strong, and they get exactly what they're looking for. That is a wipeout. Firebend now taking space.
I don't know. Game 3 is starting to look like a cookout, like a competitive cookout here. I mean, we got people from Black Lotus manning the grill. We got people from Firebend manning the grill. We might as well start getting the plates out because both of these teams are cooking. Firebend is still in the lead, and they've actually got 2 players down on Black Lotus here. So Black Lotus starting to be put on the back foot here again. A nice change of pace for Firebend, but so far Firebend hasn't been able to get themselves out of these like 1-player ruts. I mean, they've already got 1 player down, and luckily they're able to trade twice actually. Now 2 players down from each side. But here we see Vin and Brock taking one fight against Phoenix. Phoenix looking for help, doesn't get it quickly. Actually, Noctis going down too. Brock and Vin doing so well here. This pair-up can prove to be so useful for Firebend if they can keep this up with a little over a minute remaining.
Yeah, that's right, Nito. I mean, a minute left on the clock. Black Lotus on the back foot. Firebend pushing his tower as far forward as they can and trying to keep it consistent, making sure Black Lotus has a hard time getting in, not only trying to move around, but get that tower pushed back onto the other side if they wanted to. I mean, what a great fall-off damage pick there for Yaru.
Man.
Beautiful play. Now we see 40 seconds left on the clock. They're going to try to see if they can get a couple more picks here, especially on Brock. They will go down, but get picked off. Pressure being so hard applied by Firebend. Black Lotus is having a hard time fighting any footing.
Oh my goodness, Firebend was doing so well earlier. Now Black Lotus is starting to get back into it. 20 seconds to go, but Firebend going 2 players down. They're going to need to watch out for Vin, and it's going to be Vin and the Bamboo on the side of Firebend. Black Lotus looking strong here. As long as they lose 2 players, that's actually 2 players going down. I wonder who got those both out. It's probably going to be Brock. It's Brock already getting 3 picks. Paul's been getting 3 picks there. It's all up to Phoenix to get things done. It's up to Yaru as well. But Firebend is going to be giving Black Lotus their 2nd loss of the season here, putting themselves on the board 2-1 here.
Wow. I mean, that was a beautiful play in match 4, Firebend, and they got a great push off from the beginning and just played completely off from there, making sure they pinch a lot of these players on Black Lotus together, getting these great coordinations down with their specials and pushing forward. I mean, we're going to take a look at some great replays here. Shout out to Jorian on the cam as well for putting in this work. I mean, just look at these plays that we got going on, right? I mean, already that was their push down to 36. That was a monster push. Black Lotus got in a little bit of a struggle here, right? I mean, they've got 2 players down. They're trying to apply a lot of pressure here. They're trying to find great picks. Phoenix with a nice slosher pick there. But, you know, this was the start of their push, trying to get down to that 36, but Brock goes on in and gets a pick on Yaru, paints up a little bit, applies that pressure, and I think 44 was the max that they were able to push it to before getting stopped by Firebend.
Okay, now that we're 3 games in, there is one pair up that you're going to need to watch from Firebend, and that's going to be Brock and Vin. And you're watching in the replay here, Brock and Vin trying to help out with Phoenix there, but Brock is able to take things under control here, get 2 picks on the board. When at this high of a level in competitive Splatoon, you just have so much confidence in what your teammates are able to do, in both mechanically and strategically. And I think in that replay, it was all mechanics. So I want to see how that pairs up well in Game 4, Rainmaker Hagglefish. There's a lot of fights that go on here, especially near mid, which could create a neutral battle for both teams. And I do want to see how what both of these teams bring to the table, with Black Lotus being so mechanically skilled, and Firebend having what could be a deadly duo here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about those duos, taking those 2v1s, which is pretty much what helps a lot of great teams get as far as they do, right? You want to be able to apply a lot of pressure together, and especially if you have good weapon combinations, you're able to apply great pressure, get great picks, and ultimately have a great score on the board for whatever the mode might be that you're going to be playing. Now, especially on Rainmaker, on Hagglefish, I mean, you're looking to not only push that Rainmaker to the first checkpoint, but that little hop pushes you all the way to in the 30s, even maybe 20s, can get a little bit further when it comes down to that push. So something that, I mean, like we saw that last match, Firebend might be able to do. If they're able to get a lot of strong aggression in the beginning, Black Lotus might be in some trouble.
And in some trouble you just might be, because I don't know. This is since it's Hagglefish, Death Bucket loses just a little less power, just depending on where it is, because there's so much more flat space here than we saw in the last 3 maps. So, with the kind of comps that Firebend's running, that's something I think Firebend wants to play, or like a weakness Firebend's gonna want to play for. That's gonna be a shot coming out from Black Lotus, or V shot, I think, from Black Lotus. Firebend, I believe that's the same comp they've been running. So, I mean, why the heck not? Watch for these 2 ninja squids here. I think that's where Vin and Brock can show up, and even Misa too. I think where all of these can show up and at least provide for some really fun 2v1s to watch on Firebend's side as both teams get set up here.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what they feel that shot is going to do that the 52 couldn't perform, especially those first 2 games. And Misa, right away, started with a triple. This is what I was talking about. Firebend immediately with a strong start. Black Lotus on the back foot, already at 1 going down because the 52 got 2 overzealous, brushed on forward. Black Lotus quickly woke up here. Look how fast they're playing, trying to get out of their own plat, making sure they take as much space as possible. What just happened?
It's just that trimple. I mean, Misa, I had to point out Misa because I didn't want to leave anybody out here. I think you've got 3 great front lines here for the side of Firebend. At least front lines and 1 possible support, but let's be honest, if you're using Zap, at some point you're not going to be a support, you're going to be a front line. But I didn't want to leave Misa out, and Misa goes off and pulls that triple to get themselves 1 checkpoint, even less than a minute remaining, or less than a minute into the match. I mean, dude, it's Firebend just right out of the gate there. Black Lotus is still taking some time to find a response here, but if Firebend can keep popping off like that, that is going to be huge for a team that needs that boost.
We saw Noctis there get 1 beautiful pick, but kind of rushed that Rainmaker stall because, I mean, they went down immediately with the other 2 members focused on another play from behind. There's a, wow, again, I think that's Misa, yeah, flanking from the side, getting a nice double there, opening up the gate once again for Firebend. Yaru will pop the Zuka, trying to get a pick on the Rainmaker, will be unsuccessful. Shots will not connect. Brock painting around the Rainmaker, trying to find good positioning here, paint up for a Zuka themselves. What they want to do is try to get those players off of that tent area. Make sure you have that space opened up, and you might be able to get a strong push going forward for that checkpoint. Look at these players, making sure they have at least one player always around that Rainmaker. Brock pops the Zuka. Unfortunately, will not find a connect. Two players will go down on both sides. It's just the Rainmaker now in mid. Can stay alive, but Brock's alive too, and saves the Rainmaker. Brock is on a double, but the Zuka takes out the Rain.
The third common road ever do it, 300 XP, and that's what you have to show for. I mean, Brock Misa proving to be so useful for the side of Firebend, and there's going to be these flatling actually for making a few plays of themselves, making sure Black Lotus stays back, making sure Black Lotus is constantly on this staggered position here in the game, in the set, as we already passed halfway. Black Lotus still looking for these opportunities, but I'm starting to notice that Black Lotus is almost, as far as I'm concerned, Black Lotus is almost always going to be one player down. Firebend, with how fast they're playing so far, I mean, Firebend can just as easily take advantage of this without having to think about it. And I'm starting to say that there's three players lined up around it. Lined up around that area, or lined up around the pedestal. One player going down for Firebend. Brock was nearly about to make a play there, but so far Black Lotus has the advantage.
Advantage that they're going to try to look to play off of as the trade goes down. They got to pop this Rainmaker, but Firebend's already in some really solid positioning here. Ballpoint is on the tent area, but Azuka will take them out. That's huge. There goes that range. They have to watch, make sure any players close by aren't there, and there's the Carbon Zuking from the bottom right, taking out the Rainmaker. It's a 2v3 on the map. Splashdown will pop that Rainmaker, and can they stay alive? No, Mert takes a trade there. Coolers popped for Firebend. This is like a complete reversal of what we saw the first two games, Nito.
Oh my, okay. I mean, this, I don't know. As I'm writing down my notes for this matchup, Black Lotus comes in with this long resume, like they're about to come in for a job interview. Firebend's the interviewee that shows up in cargo shorts and a Legend of Zelda t-shirt and says, "I would like one job, please." And yet Firebend is doing so well. It took him a while for him to warm up, but oh my goodness, Firebend still holding on to the lead. If I swear, if I get a commentator's curse thing going on here, it means Black Lotus is going to get a checkpoint soon. But they've got one player down. They actually got another player down. Maybe trade off a few picks there. Two players down on either side. But Yaru is going to be the one leading the way there. But nearly also goes down to going down to that ballpoint on the side of Firebend.
I mean, this Ballpoint right now is on a quad to save the game for Firebend. I mean, Black Lotus thought they had this checkpoint secured, 3 players down, but the Ballpoint clutched up and got a secured quad to hold it strong. Players on Black Lotus can't get in time. Firebend ties the score 2-2 going into Game 5.
To the Ballpoint, I would like to say thank you for protecting my job and making sure a commentator's curse didn't happen. Because now the game's tied. Now it's 2-2. We're guaranteed at least 3 more games here. So hats off to the Ballpoint for saving my job and for giving us a little bit more Division X action here on Ludi tonight. I mean, like you said, this is a complete reversal of what we've seen the last few games. Look at Misa. I say this is a competitive cookout. But so far, Misa has been the one behind the grill, cooking up some absolute cinema here. I mean, goodness, there's a lot I can say here, and there's a lot I'm probably going to say here, but I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to you before I go on for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, look at these replays that we have here, right? Just saw strong plays by Firebend, the aggression, the combinations, like I said before, with the specials and players being able to go on in. I mean, that right there, we saw the Ballpoint using Jet and distracting the players for Brock to go in. Same with the Rainmaker. Again, Brock making those plays. Here's another push here, and this is where we thought they were about to lose a lot more points on the side of Black Lotus, but Azuka clutched it up. Now, unfortunately here, I mean, that wall got destroyed, and Azuka took out the 52. It's just the ballpoint. Once again, holding that Rainmaker pretty strong. Here, defense for Black Lotus. Once again, trying to find these picks, and they get some great picks, right? I think they got 2 to 3 players down here, making things pretty much a 4v1 for all these players involved. But Firebend holding strong. I mean, you can't have planned any better.
I mean, and this is, I want to say this is almost a fight-heavy set that's going on here, because looking at the score from Game 4, that was, what, 62 to 64 remaining. And if you look at that on paper, that doesn't look like a very impressive game. But you start to see all the triples that are going down, all the doubles, all the whatevers here. Both teams are getting the better of each other, but I think it's still Firebend that Firebend that was able to keep Black Lotus away from that pedestal for a long time. I mean, Black Lotus did almost pull it off at the end there, but that is the ballpoint coming in clutch for him. There is a lot to investigate here, and there's a lot that's probably going to come up in Game 5 here. Spot zones on the one, or not? Yes, spot. Notes, please. Spot zones on Barney Soul.
The comps are staying the same from the previous games. Both teams feel confident they can make it work, especially Firebend bringing back out that bamboo. Black Lotus sticking with the shot for Yaru, not going back to the 52. Right away, Black Lotus will get cap of that zone, forcing the members of Firebend back just a little bit, but Cooler will be popped on both sides. Players now rushing on in. Zuka will try to assist for one play there. Will not find anything else besides that. Yaru, though, playing pretty aggressive here, trying to see if they could find anything to go off of. Strikes will come out, try to counteract these chumps and the aggression from Misa there. They will find the pick, and now this is where we're going to see these players of Black Lotus try to be a little bit more aggressive, but two go down from that aggressive push. Mert has to try to back up here while trying to hold on at the same time. Lead will swap over for Black Lotus. Firebend now looking to cap that zone back over.
Oh, Firebend, they've got 3 people on the basically the top of your screen there, but watch for Brock to try to make a pick on Mert. Mert ultimately able to move a little bit around Brock and able to sneak by a pick or so. But so far, it's actually 3 players down for Firebend. They're going to need to back up a little. But look at how fast Black Lotus is able to respond. This is almost the same urgency we saw from Firebend in the previous set. The only thing is that it's now Noctis leading the way there. With how dangerous Noctis can be on a map like this, that's exactly who they want leading the charge there. And with a triple splashdown, why not? There might be a double pick there. Almost double, but one of them jumps out just in the nick of time. Noctis still leading the way. This could be a KO here.
Yeah, I mean, we have 5 points left on the board. 3 players forced to fight, 1 player off the side of the zone. That's going to be the game. Black Lotus woke up. They saw those 2 losses, and they turned on the Jets. A strong win for game number 5 for Black Lotus.
I mean, this, I was talking about last match being almost entirely neutral battle between both teams that was essentially all of mid, and all of mid being this imaginary spot between both pedestals. But now Black Lotus comes in with a sense of urgency that almost seemed unimaginable from a team that, again, on paper, looked like it didn't do much, which, I mean, again, they did. But Black Lotus comes in and says, we're going to run Havoc, and we're going to have Noctis leading the way when it comes to running Havoc all over y'all, and we work to perfection. What can I say?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, even look at this play here by Noctis. Misses the shot, but takes a great advantage of their special to get 1 player down, and forcing Yin to back out, or sorry, Vin to back out of there. Zuka tries to take out the bamboo on that right side, but of course, the fact that they fell down there was just a bad situation in general. Noctis drops down there, just players going at each other. I mean, that was just a great play altogether. That great game for Black Lotus, and let's see if they can try to pick up that momentum once again, going to Clam Blitz on Umami Ruins.
Barniesel fans, unfortunately our time is over. It is time to move over to Game 6, Clam Blitz on Umami, where if you're Black Lotus, this is the mode you want to play as aggressively as you just did. I mean, you can if you can overwhelm the opposing team like that, any Clam Blitz push can be a complete wash. I mean, you can take yourself up from 100 to 50, and I think one push, if Black Lotus does the same thing, just keep Noctis at the front, keep everyone behind, and we'll just see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the case of, like you said, you want to be aggressive as possible. You want to be able to get your enemy into a stagger, and that way you could play a great push off. You can get a lot of points scored, and that's something that Black Lotus tried to do that first time we saw a Clam Blitz, right? I mean, they were able to hold a strong offense and a defense. Let's see if they can perform the same kind of magic, or will Firebend awaken once again and be able to cause havoc?
The bamboo is still here. The everything from Black Lotus really is still here. The shot actually comes out again. That's almost expected here with Umami Runes. You do get a bit more range, so I almost expect them to use Yaru to use all of that range here. But so far, Firebend has to show up with the same amount of urgency, the same amount of aggression and vitality that we saw in Game 4. Black Lotus just needs to keep doing what they're doing best. There's already 3 players going all the way up for Black Lotus. This is go from the side of Black Lotus. As soon as they see an advantage, they go for it, and they don't leave anybody behind here.
Yeah, no, they're making sure that every player has an opening, and you saw that paint output they were trying to put on the map together. I mean, that was a lot of paint, a lot of specials built up quickly, but Firebend is now quickly trying to turn things around. They all on Mark, so Mert's going to try to find one. Will find him, finds 2, finds 3! Mert just runs down those players, and a combo of 2v1 on the Zap takes him out. Misa now holding a lot of aggression quickly with the bamboo. Look how fast these players on Firebend came back to hold that stance, hold that ground. This is a really similar play of what we saw happening that first Clam Blitz game this set, Nito.
Mert said it's my turn on the Splatling highlights console, and that was one heck of a triple, but it almost, now that we saw that triple, and now that we saw where we're at right now, it almost seems like it might be a repeat of Game 4, getting a huge opening play, but then all of a sudden, since both of these teams are so aggressive, they're so fast, it almost seems like that wipe never happened. So now we have both teams in this position yet again. Here's Yar trying to make a play on, I believe, 2 players here. Vin may go down. Min goes down. That might be the bamboo also going down. Firebend has at least one power clam in, and you might get a few more courtesy of this bamboo, unless Phoenix puts a stop to it, stopping them at 77 remaining. I mean, goodness, Firebend responded to going 3 down with a power clam of their own. When you have 2 teams that go as fast as they do, this is almost no surprise.
Yeah, I mean, this could be a game where it's a 1 push and over, but considering how Black Lotus has been playing this set, I doubt it. We might see a strong back and forth now, because remember, the first time we saw Clam Blitz here, it was Black Lotus who got a huge push off consistently. Now, like you said, the combo between Misa and Brock is something to look out for, and I think once they get these players down, this is going to be their opening for them. They already get 1 down. That's going to be Misa. Yaru playing really aggressive in the front, but a little too aggressive, goes down. Down goes Brock as well. Black Lotus now has a player advantage on hand. Just got to make that clam economy up a little bit, and they can go for a great push.
Noctis, you need to watch out for Noctis. If Noctis leads that push, you know that Black Lotus is going to be in for something big. There's already 2 people. I thought they're okay. Maybe it was a little too early for that. I thought they were going to pick up that power clam, but they didn't. They did not. They actually got 1 player down. So probably a good idea here. Misa starting to lead the way. Brock, and I believe that's the bamboo there, trying to make a play there. Vin as well, staying right on top of mid here. Going to back up just a little bit more. Knows they have a valuable resource in that cooler, but goes down to Noctis. 3 players going down for Firebend. That's a delayed wipeout for Black Lotus, as they are able to get 1 power clam in, and then they've got many more power clams to boot.
Wow, look at this. Just like I said before, a monster push is coming for Black Lotus, and they already have a great amount of clams going in, down to 45, but they need a couple more if they want to chance that securing a solid lead and a solid win. Phoenix will jump on in, get a lot more clams scored on the board, down to 21. A power clam and 1 single clam would finish the game, but they are going to get delayed wiped here, and that's going to be Firebend now quickly painting this map, playing aggressive here, trying to find some great opportunities here to get these players down. Brock gets 1. Goes down to the splashdown as well by Noctis. Less than a minute on the clock, Nito, and Firebend's got to find a way to take over mid and get a push going.
You can't stare away at the screen for more than a second because we're already at 40 seconds left in the game. Black Lotus, from the very beginning, what I thought was going to be slow, has already turned into a 21 remaining lead, or a lead of about 56 points on the board. 30 seconds left on the clock. Black Lotus has another opportunity, and then get one player sticking around the outside like that. Might be Noctis if they can aim. If Noctis watches out for Brock, that's not going to be enough. Brock actually takes Noctis down. Mert though sneaks by a power clam. Can they clear this? Can they clear this penalties points in time? Probably not. It's going to be very close here, but Firebend has Black Lotus standing where they are. That's going to be going to overtime for Firebend.
Overtime started. Firebend gets another pity clam attached to that, but these strikes are holding them back. They're not really able to find an opportunity to go in. Two players trade off. Down goes Brock. The ability to shark and get picks is not there on the board. Bomb goes down. That's a wipeout. Firebend off the board, off of the map. Game secured for Black Lotus, looking one game away from taking their Week 2 Ludi set.
Wow, okay. Black Lotus. I don't know what happened between Game 4 and Game 5, but Black Lotus woke up from what was apparently about a 10-minute nap and said, you know what, it's time for me. It's time to be a little bit more aggressive today. It's time to wake up and be an extra hater to all the Bamboo fans in chat, which I know you mentioned Bamboo fans, but this has nothing against the Bamboo. I decided to bring it up because I think it's going to give me engagement points, and I think it's going to get me someone's going to be talking about it. But anyway, but so far Black Lotus is looking so strong that Game 7 or Game 8 looks less of a possibility and starting to look more like something Firebend really needs here to keep themselves in the game, because Firebend so far they just been held back with Black Lotus. Black Lotus just been doing so well here.
Yeah, they really have been. I mean, those two games, they brushed them off like they were nothing and just completely flipped the script once more. Winning the next two games in a row was huge for them, and they're leading by 2, looking to see if they can quickly end this set off. I mean, look at these replays here. This was a great play by Black Lotus, taking the space, using the pity clam to start scoring that in, then making another, and they had a nice jump in, I believe, a little bit after to get more clams scored for them. So that was a beautiful display for Black Lotus, and looks like the next game is going to be decided on Tower Control Inkblot Art Academy.
All of you counterpick fans are looking at Game 7 and thinking, I'm so glad we got to Game 7. And don't worry, this is the game in which Black Lotus could, I mean, honestly, Black Lotus could go to any game here and I think seal the deal, but Game 7 just looks so, I don't know, it looks so good for them. TC Inkblot is a very straightforward map, at least in my opinion. So any push Black Lotus makes here, in which they have Noctis leading the way into Plat, possibly shooting blaster shots up in the bats, that could be enough for them. I don't know, Firebend still, they can still be sneakier. I don't want to leave them out.
Absolutely, you can at this point. You never know, things could quickly turn around. We are going to see the range blaster coming out of Black Lotus. That is the vanilla range blaster, so that won't be the new one with Kraken. Sorry for the CRB fans. Looking on the side of Firebend, we have the ballpoint back once again. Misa rushing on that left side, gets taken out immediately. They saw that coming a mile away. Staying alive here, trying to start pushing this tower a little bit forward. Jet will get canceled out and go down. Brock goes down to Mert. Mert's able to try to take some space here. One player goes down. They are coolered up. Firebend now playing the defensive side, trying to avoid Black Lotus pushing that tower any more forward, just causing a lot of bomb pressure, making sure they just don't get too much of a upper hand. Here's Azuka trying to find any players. None will be found, and this tower will be pushed to the first checkpoint.
Okay, now if Black Lotus has been listening, well, if they are, Noctis is probably going to be leading the next push. They've already got 3 players down, so it likely won't be this time. In which Mert goes down, Noctis is going to be in a very precarious spot here, looking at 3 players in front of them. Then they do go down eventually. But Firebend now, with Firebend and all of their pushes, they're going to just need to make sure they can keep up the same the same pace as Black Lotus, because that's what's been able to keep them in these matches, or at least the last few times. If they keep up the same pace as Black Lotus, like they did in game 4, like they did in game 3, then this can still be a close set, and this could still go the distance. But so far, Black Lotus just has all the responses now. It almost seems like games 3 and 4 we're a bit of a Black Lotus slipping, and now we actually got 3 players down. Misa there with the 52 gal. Fire and goodness, this is still anybody's game here. Black Lotus looks convincing though, but still anybody's game.
Yeah, I mean, Black Lotus didn't take a look at their flanks, and unfortunately, Misa was able to come around and get a nice triple to save that. This is going to be a delayed wipeout for Black Lotus. Oh no! Firebend now, with the cooler on the board, is already rushing the bat area of Black Lotus, making sure they could try to take as much space as possible. This is going to be a lead swap, as Zuka's going to come out from Black Lotus. Firebend doing a great job at taking their spacing. Brock goes down. There goes their half frontline aggression. Another goes down, though. Jet gets canceled out. Noctis doing a great job of applying pressure. Will they get this direct? Yes, they will. And that's a delayed wipeout for Firebend. Black Lotus wasting no time rushing onto mid.
I gotta take notice of the positioning here that Firebend is taking. This is a team that likes to play very, very aggressive here. I mean, we saw that ballpoint going up into the bats area, so that means Black Lotus knows where they can sneak by a few picks or two in case Firebend slips up here. But again, with how well Firebend is able to do these pair-ups with actually saw the ballpoint painting for a block at some point. With how well they're able to do these pairings, it won't surprise me if Firebend's able to pull off another push like that again. But it might not be now, because Black Lotus has already got 2 players down on the side of Firebend and will continue that streak if they can keep up with Yaru here. Yaru actually going down.
Right before that lead could swap on over, Firebend jumps on the tower after getting 2 to 3 players on Black Lotus down. Players trying to still push this tower forward. Zuka will get pushed and not keep it alive. Noctis on tower staying there, but unfortunately get picked off immediately. Trade off as Brock will go down. Black Lotus doing a great job at keeping this push alive. They have a good stance here. Tri-Strikes will come on out, get some spacing for them to move on forward. Black Lotus trying to advance this push. This jet popped out once again, but I don't think I've seen this jet not get canceled in the sky until right now. This is going to be a complete wipeout onto Black Lotus. Again, 1 point away from taking that lead from Firebend.
This is what I was talking about earlier, is you can keep the same pace as Black Lotus. This game can be all yours. Firebend able to stop what could have been 2 huge pushes for Black Lotus, preventing them from getting the lead there. That is huge. Firebend is doing so well here, but they need to keep this up for the next 40 seconds. You cannot slow down. And I've already got 1 player down from Black Lotus, so I hardly expect Firebend to stop being as fast as they've been so far. But with Black Lotus popping out of cooler, this could be a change. This could be an opportunity for Black Lotus to move to that right side there, which is going to be at the middle side of your screen. Almost Brock wasn't even to say about it. 2 players down. This could be 3. Noctis saves the day for Black Lotus with 18 seconds left on the clock.
That's right, less than 20 seconds down. Noctis gets 1, trying to find another. I don't think they see Misa sharking about the tree. That might be a huge opportunity, but no, they did. 2 players found Misa. Noctis rushing on up with those strikes. We're going into overtime.
Oh, it's going to be so close. 1 player going down blocked. That's going to be huge for Black Lotus, but they can get this lead very, very soon here. Do we need to look out for Misa? Misa sneaks by. That's going to be a Game 7 going to Firebend, with Misa pulling off the sneak of the century there. Oh, goodness. You watched out for Misa once. You got to watch out for Misa twice.
I mean, wow. If you don't watch Misa, you're in for trouble. That was the 2nd type of a flank opportunity we saw by Misa, able to go in effect. Not even a flank, right? Misa just rushed the tower forward as the players did not get on the tower in time and secured that win. I mean, as we take a look back though at these replays, just the plays these players were able to make. Black Lotus from the get-go, right? Decent push, got to 69, nice. Able to try to push this further forward and to do a great job at trying to apply pressure. But Firebend flipped the switch, right? I mean, look at this, 3 players down already. pushing this tower to the first checkpoint, getting players constantly down for Black Lotus, pushing it down, I think, all the way to 49 before their push is halted by Noctis, who got a good AoE there and a quick flick on Brock to stop them from going any more forward. I mean, that was amazing.
Whew, okay, this is almost an exact repeat of Game 4, the Clam Blitz, or not Clam Blitz, sorry, Runmaker on Hagglefish game, where Black Lotus nearly pulls it off at the end there, but Firebend holds on for dear life. In Game 4, it was the Ballpoint making, or I think it was ahead at then, right at there making a huge stop. This time, it's Misa with the 52 sneaking by. And if anything, if you take anything away from this game, kids, it's going to be stay on the tower in overtime, no matter what. Always stay on that tower. This has been a PSA from Ludi tonight. But anyway, here's a replay in case you missed it the first time, and I probably would have too. Gosh, this sounds like a cheeky comment, but probably Black Lotus did too. So Game 8, sorry, Scorch Gorge, Rainmaker, Black Lotus still holding on to match point.
Yeah, I mean, Black Lotus holding on. Like you said, you gotta try to stay on that tower, right? I mean, unfortunately, the Slosher chose to fight Misa and tried to stop them then getting on the tower first. And I think that might have been that split-second decision that it was a 50-50 shot, and it just went the wrong way. But, I mean, Firebend, wow, 1 game away from tying the score, bring it to a full Game 9. And I know all of us here would love to see that, but Black Lotus doesn't want that. They want to secure this next game on Rainmaker. They want to be able to take it. Unfortunately, after losing the first one, maybe they could turn us around. Maybe they could take Rainmaker. Maybe they learned about Firebend a little bit more these past couple of games. Can they flip the switch? Can they secure the win?
And I'll tell you what worked in Game 5 on Spot Zones on Barneasel. What worked is that Black Lotus caught Firebend off guard. All of a sudden, they send Noctis up there, and immediately, all bets are off. By the way, Black Lotus coming out with the vanilla edit, and also a shot to boot, with that Zuka shot disappearing for a little bit. But Firebend opting for, again, the same comp. I mean, it's been working out so far, why not? But Black Lotus caught Firebend off guard. Immediately, that appeared to be the end of the game. But so far, Firebend's catching on now, and maybe if Black Lotus makes any adjustments, it might be too little too late for how well Firebend's been able to do here.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that aggression quickly by Black Lotus trying to play off of those picks, but it was not enough. Trades went down. Oh, man, Firebend playing quickly aggressive here. Gets a trade on that ballpoint. Checkpoint for Firebend. 2 players up on the board for both sides, but this ballpoint is already cooking on the board. Gets a pick on the player by the Rainmaker. They're holding that ledge, making sure no players can stop there on the side. This might be a massive Rainmaker push for Firebend.
Oh, Firebend's still going Mesa! It pulled off the sneaky play in the previous game. Gets even more points on the board for Firebend. Firebend actually going into a delayed wipe there as Zap jumps out, wisely doing so, as Black Lotus almost immediately gets themselves into enemy territory, getting ready to take this pedestal if they can. It's going to be Yaru on the Zuka. That's going to be Mert on the Rainmaker. This is going to be a close matchup to where if Noctis can get this one down, that's going to be huge. Gets a few picks, even though they go down themselves. 68 remaining. Black Lotus gets that checkpoint. Can they get the lead here? No!
Oh, lead not yet. They kind of rushed that Rainmaker, right? I don't know if they should have rushed it so soon. They're just trying to dive it forward. Black Lotus is throwing player after player forward on that Rainmaker, trying to get that lead, and they are 5 points away from it. But Firebend are all completely back up, but 2 will go down. Rainmaker can't be reset. It is just the ballpoint, Nito. That's a wipeout. This could be a huge lead for Black Lotus.
Oh my goodness, Black Lotus! You needed to catch them off guard, and this was going to be it. And I wouldn't have expected Black Lotus to just keep going after that Rainmaker over and over again, up to 39 remaining for a while. And there's not this being with the shark. Almost gets off the play here. Can they do it? No, just before that splashdown goes down. That ballpoint was able to catch it right in the nick of time. Goodness, that was going to be a very, very cheeky play from Black Lotus if it worked. But Firebend still keeping themselves on top of things. 2 minutes to go, and it's gonna be Firebend's game so far.
Yeah, I mean, right now at this positioning, Firebend is looking at a great opportunity to try to push things forward, but Noct is doing a great job at staying alive. As I say that, Ballpoint has a great angle here. Yaru with the Zuka. Can they find it on the Rain with one more shot? No. It is only 2 players up as 2 more respawning for Black Lotus. Firebend trying to find an opportunity. Can they go in? But with 2 players down, it's going to be a finding hard opportunity. And it's going to be pushing this Rainmaker back into the top left by that secondary checkpoint. Now, Black Lotus is doing a great job at this defense, but here comes the Ballpoint Inkjet. Can they find any picks on it as they're going to have strikes to try to push any players back? Mert backing up. 1 player goes up forward, kills that Rainmaker, and Mert's doing a great job holding his position, trying to get 1 more player, and they will get it.
Mert so far, that's actually 2 picks for the Ballpoint on the side of Firebend. That ballpoint proving to be very clutch for Firebend. Might need to do the same thing here. Unless they get wiped out like that, Black Lotus with a minute to go, looking very strong here. Could be the deciding game for Black Lotus. If they can keep up this lead, they're going to send it straight back in the enemy territory. Actually, no, they're going to try to stall it there on the bottom left side of your screen right now. That's going to be 45 seconds left on the clock. They know how fast Firebend likes to play, so I believe what they're going to do here and at least try to let Firebend come to them. But if they watch out for Misa, they need to keep watching out for Misa. There's 1 pick already. Can they get another one? There might be another one on Phoenix, but the Rainmaker's already gone down. This could be it for Firebend. If they needed any opening, it was going to be there.
Yeah, I mean, this is their chance, right? This is with 20 seconds left on the clock. They got to try to get things going. They get a pick on 2. Misa goes down with the Ballpoint. Ballpoint will respawn and jump on in. Vin is in control of the Rainmakers, somehow barely staying alive from the Zuka shots. No, the 3rd one takes them out. It's just Misa. Misa has to pop the Rainmaker, but they can't because they're stuck fighting. All the players on Black Lotus wipe out, but the clock is not in their favor. Black Lotus secures this game, winning their Ludi set 5-3.
The fire has been extinguished. Black Lotus. That was so close, and I don't know. For a while there, I actually wanted Fire. I know I'm not supposed to be biased here, but for a while there, I wanted Firebend to pop that. Let's see what you pull off in overtime. Let's see what you do. Let's see what you can do if you had that overtime, but Black Lotus ultimately pulls off the set win here, bringing themselves up to 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great game played by Black Lotus, right? And this is something about this map that a lot of players, it feels similar to Humpback, right? 1 push down to 34 can be discouraging, but it's never over, right? I mean, look at this, right? Black Lotus, 3 players down on the other side, able to try to push this thing forward more. I mean, this was a great push by Firebend all the way down to 34, just rushing it forward. And that's exactly what they needed. Black Lotus, though, just reversed the script, right? They were able to turn that around. They were able to get a monster push in themselves, get the players on Firebend down when they needed, and they were able to push this thing so far forward as we're going to see in this replay here.
Whew, okay, well, that's out of the way. That now we can cool down now. I mean, something has to be said about a team that looks a little off put by games 2 and 3, but then all of a sudden they're able to pull themselves together, keep themselves going, and what comes out is this game where all of a sudden, game 8, we put out all the stops here. We make sure we do not let our foot off the gas pedal when it comes to pushing this Rainmaker. If we saw Noctis there try to pull off a sneaky play, ultimately it doesn't work out for him, but Black Lotus pulls out all the stops exactly when they needed them. This game has all the clutch moments. That has all the clutch moments here.
Yeah, and this is what you love to see at this high of a division, right? Division X, the best of the best. And we saw what the best of the best can do. I mean, Black Lotus was able to secure 5 of these games. Back and forth, 2-2-2. Firebrand was able to take a game again and hopefully try to turn that around, but nah, Black Lotus wasn't having it. They wanted this set over and done, and they got it done there, especially at the end with that stall, making sure that the 52 Misa just couldn't pop that Rainmaker. I mean, that was amazing. That was great.
And with that, Black Lotus is going to be leading the group yet again as they wait for their round 3 matchup against Monaco. Firebrand going to look to take things up again against Mango Heckmech on the next week. But, I mean, unfortunately, this does have to end for Ludi this afternoon, or for our EU folks, Ludi tonight. But for all of our folks across the pond in the NA region, we do have 2 other sets coming up for y'all. It's going to be Div 1 Solstice versus one of the names I've ever heard in Ludi. Apparently 37 sexy boys, even though you're only really allowed to have 8. But there's also Div 9W, Fish versus Time to Win. You guys are coming up with great team names. I am scared for what comes next season.
Every season, the names just get better and better, whether they're pickups or just normal teams. I mean, these are some of the best team names I've seen in a while, and I hope they keep on coming. Maybe next time we'll see another one of those teams called the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? Maybe we'll see some of them pop up. Maybe we'll see the Last Airbender with all 4 elements.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. Any name is good, except for some based off of map modes. Like, there's a team out there called Triggerfish Zone Supremacy that, I don't know, I don't know how I feel about that. But
really grinds your gears.
Yeah, just a little bit. I'm still waiting for 1v4.
Well, with that being said, that's going to do it for Nito and I. Nito, thank you so much for being such a great commentary partner. Where can the great people viewing SplatoonTourney find you?
I will be at Nito and Used, I think here. Yes, here at Nito and Used on Twitter, on Twitch. And if you want to find me, actually, wait, I just got a loot box behind me. Come on. Fortnite Eagle. Where can people find you, Castus?
You could find me on most socials at Glitched Cactus, on Twitch at Glitched Cactus 1, and you can even find me at least once a week over on Dabble Productions with my podcast, The Cactus Patch, where we try to talk about any topic that's kind of doing hot in the community. Just recently we had an episode talking with Emil, the head TO of Ludi, discussing this recent season as well as Ludi as a whole.
But that's going to be it for us right now. We shall see you later tonight, or for you folk later this morning. That should be about 3 a.m. y'all's time, so 4 a.m. if I'm right. So we shall see you then.
Put